10 years of fat loss hacks in 10 minutes. And yes, don't blame me if the video is going to be 11 or 12 minutes because I've been in this game well over a decade right now. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to break down and share with you how I went from being a competitive fitness athlete to now coaching high performance entrepreneurs on really getting healthy and losing fat and getting in shape fast. And I promise you, this video won't be any fluffy stuff or 3 steps on how to do anything. It's going to be a very detailed guide on what we are teaching our clients every single day on how they can get in shape and really look their absolute best in the fastest way possible. So in this video, I will break down how to lose 1 kg per week every single week without having to starve yourself. How to speed up your metabolism for faster fat loss. How to still eat out, okay? Eat Uber Eats and burgers and these sort of things and actually be in shape, because I eat out every single night and I'm in pretty good shape, okay? How to lose fat and get in shape without having to actually go to the gym. How to stay on track while you're traveling, and most importantly, my friend, how to stay on track the next 365 days so you can become the best version of yourself. Over the last 27 years now, yes, I'm turning 32 in a second, so I've been pretty immersed with health and fitness my whole life. You know, from playing football when I was 5, doing push-up outside after watching Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rambo, okay, to hitting the gym when I was 15, then becoming a fitness athlete, and then really starting training people and working with people in person to now, over the last decade, have helped hundreds and hundreds of men transform their bodies and really build a sustainable and healthy lifestyle. And the one thing I will say about fat loss and getting in shape, yeah, at first it's cool with a 6-pack, okay, but it's much more. It's much more than that. It's a symbol of who you are, okay, how you show up and what people can expect from you, both in life and in business. It's the standard you set for yourself, and the standard will shine through in everything else that you're doing in life. So the first step here right now is how to actually lose at least 1 kg per week without having to starve yourself. And again, you know, I'm not here to invent a new rocket or anything. I think we both know right now that it's calories in versus calories out, okay? If you're consuming more than you're burning, you're gonna gain weight and gain fat, okay? If you're consuming less than you're burning right now, you're going to get in better and better shape. Now, people know that, but why are we not getting in shape then? And what I oftentimes see is because what we don't manage, or what we don't measure, we can't manage. So we have 1 day good, you know, another day good, half day bad, then we have 7 days bad. And when we look at a trajectory over a year, that's really where we see a lot of the mistakes happening with our clients. You know, it's on and off, on and off, on and off when they come to us first time, when we look at their data and we look at how they're really operating their life, okay? So really what we kind of like are doing with our clients when we start out is really, you know, setting down and looking at what are they currently doing right now. And my best advice to you is simply just eat the same thing for the next 7 days, jump on the scale every single day, and then see what happens, okay? And the way you're gonna look at your nutrition right now is you have your protein, okay, you have your carbohydrates, and you have your fat. These are the 3 components that you need into your daily meals right now. And then it's simply just after convenience. Do you eat 2 meals, 3 meals, or 4 meals? Then you need a certain amount of protein, certain amount of carbohydrates, and certain amount of fat spread out over the day to really just having the complete nutritional, completion of the food you're consuming there, okay? So basically the way you're gonna look at it right now, for a adult man, 6 foot like myself, you're looking at between 150 to 200 grams of protein, okay? For fat, it can all depend on how much carbs you're eating. So if you're going lower carbs to speed that up, you can be a little bit on the higher end with the fat. So like, let's say 60 grams of fat. And then for carbohydrates, you can be from 100, 150 to 200 there. That will basically put you on around these 2,000 calories for the day, which is a very, standard operating calorie consumption for a man 6 foot that want to lose fat and get in shape. Okay, so what that looks like in meals, okay, you have a breakfast, you have a lunch, you have a snack, and you have a dinner. The way you then look at it there is that you need to take your protein, which is, let's say 150, okay, divide it into 4. That's about, 30, 35 grams, 40 grams of protein per portion over those four meals, and that will give you the total amount, okay? So eggs, egg whites in the morning, Greek yogurt, okay, like a bowl of Greek yogurt, 300 grams of Greek yogurt gives you 35 grams of protein. Eggs and egg whites is the same thing. If you have, let's say you have 2 eggs and then you have like 4 or 5 egg whites, that will also give you around these 30 to 30 grams of protein in your serving size. And then you're looking at your lunch and your dinners, which is basically your two sort of like main meals where you're consuming the protein, okay? And I'm speaking to animal-based people here right now. You're looking at chicken, you're looking at steak, you're looking at fish. Again, eggs can also be a consumption in there. You're looking at these main sources of protein, and you're simply just going for one, okay? One chicken breast, one steak, okay, one grilled salmon, and then you might sit and think right now, but like, how do I know how much that is? Generally speaking, if we're taking these packed serving sizes of one steak or one chicken breast there is in the supermarkets, they're roughly hitting around these 200, sometimes 250, sometimes 180. You're getting these 40 grams of protein roughly in that serving size there. And then really the last thing is just implementing the carbohydrates and then the healthy fat. The one thing I will say about the healthy fat is you're getting a lot from just cooking the meals with the oils and these sort of things. So don't worry, you will get fat in simply just by consuming the meals. The meat in itself, I eat ribeye for dinner. You will have a lot of the fat just coming from that, okay? And then really what you just do with the carbohydrates is that you're adding that into the meals. Okay, so for breakfast, let's say you have carbohydrates there. It could be a side dish of oats. For lunch, it could be a side dish of rice or sweet potatoes. Okay, and the same thing for dinner. And that is really just how you're going to look at your meals right now. You're laying it out, you eat the same thing for a week, and then you see if you're losing weight in the end of the week. And your measure, my friend, should be roughly around, depends on your weight right now, roughly around this 1 kg per week right now. So if you can be in between 500 grams to a kilo, and you do that consistently 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, consistently like this, you know that you are on track to basically hit your fat loss goals very, very soon. The one little caveat I will put in there right now, and I will just share my own diet with myself. I do egg whites in the morning, I do oats, then I train, then after training, I have a bowl of rice, steak, chicken, veggies, and all that sort of thing, a typical meal, okay? And then I actually only have my third meal, which is my dinner. But here's the caveat for what I do with my dinner. I eat a bigger steak because I just eat that steak. I don't add carbs, I don't add anything else in there. I just eat that steak. It's a ribeye, okay, it's 350, so I'm getting a higher amount of protein, higher amount of fat in that, and then I'm consuming my carbohydrates before and after my workout to get the energy from that, and then I basically just work, and then I complete my day with that steak then. Now what that does, okay, it's 3 meals, it's an easy adjustable thing to keep my calories within those 3 meals, 1. 2, I'm getting high protein and high fat there at the end of the day. And what does that do, my friend? It does that I'm not craving anything. I actually don't crave anything at all during the day, but most importantly at nighttime. When I'm sitting there and I'm done with dinner and stuff, I'm saturated from that protein and that fat simply from eating that steak there, okay? So that's just a little caveat on that. But the key thing for this point here right now is eat the same, follow the guideline that I just laid out right now, and then you need to be on a trajectory to hit these 500 grams to a kilo every single week. And if you don't, okay, if you don't lose the weight there, then you start looking at removing a little bit from your, let's say the banana, or removing a little bit from the rice you're eating, and then you just do it again until you're hitting that 500 grams to a kilo a week. The next point here, my friend, is really how do you then speed up your metabolism for faster fat loss? Now, why do a metabolism slow down? There's a lot of genetic and hormonal things that occurs, but from the most universal aspect, why does metabolism slow down? The one thing I want you to visualize right now, it's like you're having a burning fire, okay? And when you're trying to get in shape and losing fat, okay, what are you doing? You're usually upping your activity, and then you're removing your, your energy sources. You're removing the food, meaning you're decreasing your calories. So you're having a burning fire here right now. What do you think is going to happen to the fire when you keep taking out the branches, the fuel to the fire, okay? It's going to slowly decrease until the end. It's actually going to burn out, and there's no more heat, right? It's dark outside. And that is how I want you to look at your metabolism from a very universal standpoint, okay? Your metabolism determines on a few things, and I will break that down. The biggest thing for your metabolism right now, okay, it's your muscle mass. We're not talking about you're unhealthy right now, your thyroid is down and stuff. That doesn't make like a medical thing. But your muscle mass in a nutshell, it's like you have a Mazda and you have a Ferrari, okay? The Ferrari, what does that do? It drinks more fuel, it drives faster, it needs stronger bolts to keep the wheel on and that sort of thing. It's just a more high-performance machine. That is what happens to your body and your metabolism, okay, when you're building muscle. you're increasing the engine. It's like adding an extra cylinder to your body. And now your body, okay, your resting metabolism is going to burn fat for you at a lot higher rate while you sleep, while you walk, and ultimately how you basically are going to lose fat in a lot more comfortable and easy way. The wrong way to do it, what most people do, is that they're cutting a bunch of calories and they jump on the treadmill, okay? That's again what happens when you lower your metabolism. You decrease the fuel, and then you're actually harming the body. You're pushing the body into stress, okay, to try to bring your weight down. So instead, you need to focus on actually building muscles, right? Building muscles. It's like investing. You're putting money into an investment account, and it pays for you throughout the day, okay? So that is the most important thing there. The second thing you can do, my friend, is simply just start eating more protein overall. As we talked about on the point before, you should hit between 1 gram to 1.5 gram to even 2 grams per body weight, kgs body weight, okay? So if I'm 90 kilos and I'm hitting the top mark of 2 grams body weight, that gives me around 180 grams, okay? I'm eating 200 grams of protein every day, okay? I like it. Protein keeps me full. Protein keeps me saturated. But more importantly, the little trick around that, there's two things. One, it's obviously necessary building blocks for your muscle mass. But two, actually eating the protein on its own has a thermic effect. Okay, so simply just by consuming the protein, digesting the protein, you're actually burning more calories as a result of that versus carbohydrates and fat. Okay, so it's a 2-in-1. It helps you build muscle, and it actually increases your metabolism as well, simply just by digesting the protein on its own. So then the last thing that happens here right now is your sleep. And that's one thing I've been very, very big on over the years right now, is get to bed, okay, at the same time, and then wake up at the same time for one specific reason: to have the most optimized sleep patterns. Because basically from 2 a.m. from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, that is when you're preparing yourself mentally, okay? The problems you've been going, the thoughts, like mentally, you know the feeling of, what did they say, never make a decision before you had a good night's sleep. That is really the process that happens there. You're waking up fresh, you have insights, everything is restored and put in place, okay? That is really what happens mentally from that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. But from a body standpoint right now, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning right now, that is where your body is reproducing itself. Okay, that's where your cortisol drops, that's where your growth hormones is being produced, your testosterone is being produced there. And then the last thing that really happens is that your leptin is being increased and being produced there at nighttime. So if you're depriving yourself from that, that is what happens when you are having cravings the next day. So leptin gives you that sense of fullness, okay? You're feeling good within yourself. And if you're deprived for that one, that is where you're experiencing these cravings and making these bad choices the next day. So think about it, okay? So that is really why sleep is such an important thing overall. And it's not just one good night of sleep or one bad night of sleep. It's the consistency. It's the I'm having 3 or 4 like bad nights of sleep. That is really when you start getting into a pattern of just losing control with your body and getting in shape, okay? And then the last thing, my friend, is really how you're using both cheat meals and refeed meals to then spike your metabolism again. And that is really going back to the fire and the fuel we used before. It's when you are lowering your calories, naturally you can't avoid it. You will slowly decrease your metabolism as you're going along, as you're getting leaner and leaner. And that's why they say, in the beginning you lose a lot of weight, a lot of water retention and stuff. As you're getting leaner and leaner, it slows down. And it's naturally because the body is trying to hold on. So what we used to do as a fitness athlete and bodybuilder at that time was to use refeed meal. We were on point like 6 days a week, and then we would have an extra meal or 2 extra meals spread out throughout the week that basically goes in and then boosts the metabolism. It's like a fire. It's like burning slow. You put a log on it, it burns really fast, and then you straight back to your calories again. And that has a very sort of like, energetic effect on your metabolism to keep it spiked, right? To keep the fuel on the fire. So that is really kind of like in a nutshell what you need to sort of like optimize your metabolism. Lift more weights, okay? Build more muscle, get your sleep routine dialed in, eat enough protein, and then use these refeed meals as a tool to speed it up and also to enjoy yourself so you're not burning out mentally on a process like this. So the next thing is really how to still eat what you want, basically the burgers, the sweets, the pizzas, and these sort of things while getting in shape. It's a big myth that you can't eat these things while getting in shape. Now, what I will say to that is there's a mental reason for why we don't do it, and then there's a physical reasons of why we don't do it that often. Of course, you eat a burger or you eat sweets and that sort of thing, you're gonna blow out your calories very, very quickly with the energy consumption in itself, and that's why you see people spill over. So think about your daily budget as a glass of water, okay? So if you keep spilling over, okay, you keep eating too much, that is when we're storing fat. So that's why it's an easy oopsie, you know what I mean, to spill over, and that's why you have to do a lot if you want to eat more and eat a lot. But then the other thing to it, while it's not really recommended to do that much in the fitness and health industry, it's also mentally. Because if you're coming from eating from a poor diet and snacking and eating out and these sort of things, and now you're trying to become healthier, and then you pull yourself back in again to actually eat it, mentally it puts you into a I'm back again kind of headspace. And that is usually where we see a client become really good or be really good for, let's say, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then they have their first meal out or their first little weekend trip away. And then oftentimes mentally, that is when you start seeing these bumps in progress, because mentally these people are falling off. Now, what you can do to still eat these things out there, because I do it, okay, and I do it because I'm fairly disciplined on the other days, is these two things, my friend. When you're eating during the day, back to the 4 meals we're eating, and you know you're gonna have pizza tonight or burger tonight, okay, you simply just take one of your meals and then you remove the carbohydrates from it. So let's say you are eating rice and sweet potatoes and beef and chicken and that sort of thing for lunch. Remove the carbohydrates, remove some of the calories, so that you're leaving space the next, so you're leaving space at nighttime to still be able to actually eat this food there. That is, again, back to the water balance in the glass. You are manipulating, you are taking something out so you can add more into it. So you can still enjoy yourself from a mental standpoint, from a social standpoint, but you're not blowing over and actually storing fat, okay? So you remove one meal with carbohydrates, and then the next day you're doing the exact same thing. So if I have a big meal out, I would remove before, and then the next morning I will remove the same thing again, okay? So thereby you sort of like, you're not doing this, you're doing this instead, okay? So the one thing I will say about that is the next day, my friend, back to the mental aspect, this is where you're having your reset, okay? So if you're having, let's say Sunday is a big day, brunch and then dinner, Monday now can't just be cruising into it, because you're gonna feel that energy. I've done it so many times. Monday, you just wanna eat shit again. Monday, you just don't really feel that motivated and inspired to do things, okay? That is where you need to have this reset. You need to have this day or morning where you're just more extreme. So it's just remove the carbohydrates, eat the protein, go for a walk, go for a run, and just be disciplined doing that day. Some people have a whole fast that day. Some people do 2 workouts that day. It's not really about the activity. It is a little bit, okay, so you just quickly are evening out again, so you're not spending too many days to get back to where you were, but it's more from a mental standpoint. Just think about it next time. Be aware next time you're eating shit food, and then be aware of how you're feeling the next day, okay? You just wanna do shit. And that's what you need to cut straight away. There's a good quote in the book, Atomic Habits, and he said basically, it's if you can simply just cut that first day of doing something out of the norm, like let's say it's a fat loss and you're eating pizzas and burgers, if you can just cut that next day and then get back right on track again, okay, you're having like 99% chance of continuing on that track. If you do it 2 days in a row of eating and then eating, the third day now, I can't remember the percentage of it, but it decreases tremendously, meaning you're gonna be so much more likely to actually fall off track when you start doing prolonged days together of being off track. And that's where the typical yo-yo, the typical like, I was good for 3 weeks and then I fall off track again, okay? So that's how you need to think about when you're eating Uber Eats, when you're eating out and you're doing these things for yourself. So the next one here is how you enjoy yourself and eat out basically every single night. So this goes quite close together with what I shared about the previous point. But this is more about these like more small hacks you can do when you then are out for dinners. If you are in business meeting a lot, you're obviously traveling a lot. I have a point on that. So it's more about what are you practically actually doing there in these situations. So I'm very big, and you heard me talk about that right now. Carbs in, carbs out. Okay, so remove a carb from a meal before you're eating a meal at nighttime. So that is kind of like the framework you need to think about calories or carbs out to then be able to eat more in if you're eating out. So again, just to touch base on that point, if you're having a big meal, a big client dinner or something, and you know you're gonna eat more calories than you normally do, stay lean protein prior and then stay lean protein after, okay? Now, when you now are then out for dinner, that is where you have the choice to pick and choose, okay? And oftentimes the biggest thing we hear from our clients is that, well, you know, there's just so much food. There's sides, there's dishes, there's wine and that sort of thing. And that, my friend, that is where awareness, tools, and discipline comes in. What to choose and what to pick from, okay? So you're just gonna be very honest with yourself. Do you wanna make progress or do you wanna go backwards? It's as simple as that. So every time you're indulging and doing something here, you are in that moment going backwards. So there's a time and place for you to do it. You clean up your carbs and your calories before and after, if you know that's a big one. But if you're out right now and you're actually eating out every single day, which a lot of people are doing today, myself included, you need to be conscious about what you're choosing, okay? High protein meals, steak and salad on side. Like that's really what I'm picking and choosing when I'm out. Different veggies, different salads, big ass steak, grilled chicken, grilled fish, and these sort of things. So that I'm still eating the exact same restaurant food as everybody else around the table. I'm just not ordering the macaroni cheese. I'm just not ordering the potato or rice or anything over here, okay? To be sure, okay? To be on the safe side, because you know you're gonna do that again tomorrow, you're gonna do that again the next day. And if you start doing the macaroni cheese every single night to your meals, well, you know, you are in calorie surplus very, very quickly, okay? Another thing around that is really the alcohol consumption. A lot of our guys, you know, entrepreneurs and higher executives and stuff, and there's always alcohol included when they're going out for dinners and stuff. So if you know you're going to be out multiple times during the week, I would personally recommend not doing it. Maybe do it one time. But if you're out and you have to do it, and it's kind of like you just have to, keep it to one. Okay, one glass of wine, one beer or something, one cocktail, one gin and tonic. Like keep it down to these refreshing, lower calorie drinks, and then do one, okay? Because nothing good comes from the second glass, the third glass, and the fourth glass, right? It's really just a social norm to sit there and share and do these things. So drink your glass of wine slower, okay? Spit a little bit in it if you have to. But like slow down the consumption of taking in the alcohol. And then the second thing you do, my friend, is just do sparkling water. Nobody, if you're at a function, and you walk around and you do networking and stuff, nobody knows the difference if you're having lime and sparkling water. And the most important thing, like your clients, customers, employees, they will respect you from saying, no, I'm not drinking right now. Or no, I'm only having one. Do you want more glass? No, not, I'm having sparkling water for the rest. It's just a trained behavior. It's just a trained social behavior for you to really just like, do I want to go backwards? Okay. Or do I want to make progress right now? It's as simple as that. But that is really, what can you say, the tools that we are, what can you say, thinking with in regards to when you're going out, leave the carbs out before, afterwards, pick the high protein meals, the salads, drinks, stick to one or none, and then fill up with a lot of sparkling water and be on there. The other thing you can do is what I call carb substitution. So you can sometimes, again, it goes back to you removing it out and then you're adding it in for something. But sometimes I will not eat my carbs right now to be able to have a dessert later of carbohydrates. So for a long time, I would just do like protein over here. And then for my carbs, I would do sweet protein porridge, you know what I mean? Because I wanted something sweet. I wanted something else to satisfy me instead of eating my carbohydrates from my rice, for example. Now, I know it's a little bit weird when you're out in a restaurant, but it's with the same mindset of like, I'm removing some of these carbohydrates over here because I want to eat these carbohydrates here in a different format, okay? And that's really kind of like what you can think with when you're eating out, when you're on the go and stuff. It's like, I know I'm going to eat this later, therefore I'm removing something now so that I can have this later, okay? So don't overcomplicate it. Keep it high protein, veggies and stuff when you're out, minimize the alcohol, and you'll be good to go when you're eating out in restaurants every night. All right, so how to lose fat without actually having to go to the gym. So you can, there's a disclaimer here right now. If you want to look like me, you can't, okay, period. You can't build muscle by not lifting and doing resistance training and stuff. But if you're 100 kilo right now, 110 kilo, 120 kilo, 97 kilos, and you want to lose the next 10 kilos very, very fast, you can absolutely do that simply just by consuming less calories than you're burning. Okay, so what we do with our clients in these situations, they're super busy, they don't have time to go to the gym. Okay, step one is that we are looking at their calorie consumption for the week. Step two is that we're removing some of these calories and we're substituting them with more protein. So they're actually eating, they've probably been eating too many calories before, but they're eating a good amount of calories, but they're eating more protein. Remember what we talked about before with your metabolism, okay? Simply just by eating more protein, you're increasing your metabolism and your ability to lose fat and get in shape, okay? So that is what we're focusing on. We're reducing some of the carbs and fat over here, the calories, but we're actually inserting them with protein over here instead. Then the next thing we do is that we're increasing your NEAT time, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenic, okay? I know it's a weird word. In other words, it basically just means increasing the activities that you're doing outside of your exercise right now. Your daily steps, okay? You're parking the car, you're taking the stair instead of the elevator. You're basically just increasing your overall activity. You're standing up at your desk instead. Did you know you're burning double the calories simply just by standing up at your desk while you're working, right? Crazy. So these are some things that we're implementing in there. The next thing we basically just do is put you on some light body weight exercises. That's it. Go for a walk, do some push-up, do some mobility, do some stretching and these sort of things. And that is really all you need to do, my friend, to lose the first 15, 20 kilo. We've seen it over and over again. David, one of our clients, as you see here right now, he lost over 20 kilos in his first 12 weeks simply just by doing what we talked about there. Higher protein, lower calorie consumption overall, increasing NEAT time, and then increasing walks and body weight exercises to really just drive it down there, right? And that's, again, it go back up to the first point. You just need to eat right now the same thing, and then you see your weight go down at least 500 grams to a kilo every single week. You will lose these 10 kgs right now without having to go to a gym. So the next thing is really on travel. And this is kind of like a big one for a lot of our clients right now. Like, what do you actually do to stay on track when you're traveling? The way we're looking at it right now is kind of like plan A and plan B. Plan A is when you're home, you're in your routines, you have your food all sorted, you know exactly what to do, what time you're going to the gym. When you're traveling now, you're jet lagged, okay? You don't have the food you're normally eating. You're eating out in restaurants and these sort of things. So the first thing we need to do when you are out traveling is that we need to get you a travel bag with you. Okay, and what I mean by a travel bag is that we need to have some easy absorbable snacks, high protein snacks that you can have with you when you're out on the go, meaning protein powder in a little small container, some healthy protein bars. I prefer protein powder, it's more clean and lean, but simply just bringing with you a travel pack of protein. Now, the reason for that is that you are probably going to be back to back all day with meetings. You're not going to be able to choose your own food and stuff. So by having one or two snacks, they're high protein, that will give you automatically less calories right now from what you normally are doing, so that you can have a little bit more space in the lunch and the dinners that you're doing with your clients and stuff, so you're actually avoiding spilling over overall, okay? The next thing we always recommend our clients to do is then work out first thing in the morning. Most of you guys are in a hotel, okay? You have nice facilities and stuff. Do it in the morning. Like, if you don't do it in the morning, there's going to be a 95% chance for you not going to do it later on. Why? Because you simply don't have time. But two, your headspace is gone when you're coming back from all your meetings and presentations and what you have to do that day there. So you're getting your workout in the morning. If you don't have a workout or a gym facility or anything, you go for a walk. You have to do some activities first thing in the morning to really be on point, okay? So then, now the day is going on right now, you have your travel pack with you with the protein, with the snacks that you're having. Now you're basically just looking at what are my main meals going to look like. So let's say it's the breakfast, let's say it's the lunch and the dinner we're looking at right now. When you're in a hotel, you pick protein only, okay? Eggs, scrambled eggs, avocado, a little bit of bacon and stuff, and a black coffee over there. You're in a buffet, you just pick the mushroom, the spinach, the eggs and stuff. High protein meal for breakfast, okay? When you go out for lunch, okay, have the salad, have the rice, have the sweet potato, have a grilled steak or grilled chicken. When you go out for dinner, you do the same thing as you would do for lunch. Again, as we talked about many times, You need to be disciplined here, and then you need to pick and choose these higher protein meals. And if you know, like, dinner tonight is going to be with a Chinese table and we just can't choose what we're going to eat, then remove all the carbs from that lunch meal that you're doing, so you just have very lean on the 3 meals that you're doing up there, okay? Because you know you're going to eat more up here. One thing we're doing for many of our clients that have different, ethnicity in terms of Indians and Middle Eastern people, a lot of their socializing is really around their dinners. So a lot of our clients that is in that position, we simply, peeling away a lot of their calorie consumption, keep it high protein during the day, so that they pretty much can be free to do what they do at nighttime, still with, common sense of not spilling over. But thereby they're still able to eat exactly what they would do, what the wife is cooking, what they would do with their family at nighttime without having to spill over. So that's something we do a lot for our clients. Same thing with the alcohol, as we talked about before. Do one drink, do sparkling water for the rest. That's the most important thing, okay? Just stay on point with that. Don't spill over. Don't do the second glass, the third glass. Stay within the range and within the norm of the consumption, because you need to stay in this good headspace. Plan A is when you're home, it's easy, I can stay on track. Now you need to win plan B. Okay, and the way you do that, it's simply by following these points there right now. Having your travel pack with you, do the workout first thing in the morning, consume these snacks during the day, remove the carbohydrates from the meals because you know you're gonna automatically eat more when you're out with people, and then really just look at your calorie consumption. Your alcohol consumption when you're out with your clients and when you're out with the people there for dinner. Keep it down to 1 and then pour sparkling water on the rest, okay? Because again, in the end of the day, the mindset is just this 80-20% mindset. You need to feel like you're on track, because if you are on track when you're home and then you're off track when you're traveling and stuff, you're never going to get there because you're going to be so much deviating out. So by simply following this protocol when you're then traveling, you're still 80% on point with the things. You might not have the best workouts and you might not have the best dinners always, but you're still maintaining at least, and you're 80% on track while you're traveling, and you will just pick it right back up again when you get back. So my friend, the last point right now is really, how do you develop the consistency? How do you stay on track 365 and really just nail it all the way through and really getting into the best shape of your life, okay? Consistency is probably the most common word that I hear when we're talking to new potential clients every single day. Is just, Simon, I can't stay consistent, okay? The reason why we aren't consistent, again, there's a million things, the reason why we aren't consistent, but the deeper reason for it, it's because our identity and habits will always revert us back to who we are and who we see ourselves as. Meaning, because you've never been in the best shape of your life, or more importantly, you haven't stayed there long enough, you will always revert back out again, okay? So some of the things you need to look at when you're starting a fat loss journey is always to ask yourself the question, okay, what I'm doing right now, can I continue doing this for the rest of my life? Because if I don't, then you're doing the wrong thing. If you're going on a cleanse diet and you're doing it too strict and you know you're gonna blow out within 21 days and you're just counting days because you are doing a challenge for the next 30 days, you're not gonna get there, my friend. Always ask yourself that question. What I'm currently doing right now, can I continue to do this for the rest of my life? I've been eating more or less the same thing in small variations for the last 15 years. I've been more or less training in the same way with variations for the last 15 years. I look pretty good. And I feel pretty good, okay? That's the key. That's really the key, my friend. It's to go into an extended period of time. The reason why we do 6 months work with our clients to start with is because of that. 1 is the immersion, is the losing fat and building muscle part. And 2 is the conditioning of these habits. It's the prolonged period of time where you're like, oh, I don't want to do it more. Oh, I don't want to do it anymore. And you stay on track in this prolonged period of time. I promise you, my friend, you're now getting out on the other side, okay? And you're changed. Your habits are now conditioned. You're like, I don't really remember how I was thinking back then right now. I kind of look at it, but this is so much better right now. This is when you change. This is when everything just it makes sense to you right now to just go to the gym. You're feeling better, waking up in the morning. You don't hit the snooze alarm anymore. Now it's part of who you are, and that is the game, my friend. It's emerged acceleration do it in a way where you can say to yourself, I could do this for the rest of my life because this is pretty comfortable, this is pretty good, I can do this, it's sustainable, okay? And then it's really just being on track for the next 6, 12 months. And from that, your habits and identity will be changed. Now, what I will read up for you here right now is just a bullet point list of rapid fire that you can implement right now to really just build out this next 6 to 12 months, okay? So point number 1 is set a clear and defined target. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to hit it. What is the exact amount of body fat that you want to lose? What is the body composition? What do I want to look and what do I want to feel like specifically? Not, I want to feel better, I want to feel more healthy. Specific numbers, specific targets, specific measurable outcome that you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months. Step number 1, and that's where most people actually fail. They're like, I just want to lose weight. Okay? Ask the universe and you will get what you ask for. So be specific and be very clear and measurable in the target you're asking for. Okay? Step number 2 is set a specific deadline. Deadlines are super powerful, and a lot of people say, oh, it's not about, the timing, it's about the consistency. Bro, like if I put you on a clock right now saying you're gonna be in the best shape of your life for a big movie in the next 90 days, do you think you will be more aggressive, more disciplined, more on point in these 90 days if there was a deadline? You knew there was a big outcome waiting, and you knew there was a big pain if you didn't accomplish that outcome within that deadline. It just puts it more into a sharp, like people can think with these time blocks, and that's like, you can't let it blur out. You need to have specific targets and then specific deadlines in the beginning of a process like that. 2, okay, partner up. Partner up with a buddy and then really just make a bet to say the next 6 months, I'm gonna deposit $10,000 into your account, you're gonna deposit $10,000 into my account, and whoever quits, whoever doesn't get their goal, loses their money. That is utilizing pain as the driver to become consistent and stay consistent. The other point is really just getting a coach and getting accountability. You will have roadblocks, you will have bumps in the road across a time frame like that, but having expertise to eliminate the doubt, eliminate the dip in mindset, encouragement over here, tweaking and changing in your plan so you just stay consistent there. It's everything, okay? The biggest CEOs, the biggest athletes, the biggest celebrities in the world all have coaches and accountability. Why? Because it's super hard to see yourself in the picture when you're in the picture. And that's what really a coach does from the outside. It's like, don't worry about this right now. You are on point. Everything is looking good. Just continue doing what you're doing right now, okay? Invest in the process. Pay. People who pay attention, period. The more you pay for something, the more you pay attention. And that is just a fact of life. If I said to you right now, you're gonna work with me for the next 12 months, it's gonna be $1 million. Versus, you're gonna be working with me for the next 12 months, and it's gonna be $1. It's just common sense. So if you wanna commit yourself into something, invest. Pay for it. Pay more for it. Pay up front. Like just bang the credit card and then just be like, oh my God, what did I just do? Why? You're forcing yourself into accountability and commitment. That's what I've always done. I've invested north of $200,000 over my career in personal and professional development for that one reason. I want to take this serious right now in this thing. I told this story many times. I paid a guy $1,000 a month to basically keep me accountable to read more books. He was like, read this book, give me your feedback from it in 2 weeks. Read this book, give me your feedback from it in 2 weeks. What did I do? Now I eat book for breakfast, okay? Books for me right now is my number one thing. What? I was accountable, I invested, a substantial amount, so I took it seriously, and now I developed the habits because I had the accountability until it became an internal habit and joy for me. Okay, you just need success, man. You just need to get there, and then you just need to feel that success from that, okay? The last point is what I talked about before. It's total immersion for a shorter period. Set new targets so you're conditioning and you're going beyond the 6 months, the 12 months. Because most people, they can hold it together for 30 days or 90 days. You need a 90-day target, a 6 months target, and then a 12 months target. You do it with your partner, you set new challenges and new goals out. You're having a coach in your corner that really keeps you on track. And that is, my friend, how you're building a system. Just visualize for a moment, right? If you did this for the next 6 months, 12 months, follow the plan, had the accountability, clear specific targets, follow everything we just talked about above right now in terms of speeding up your metabolism, what you do when you eat out, what to do when you don't have a gym, like what you really do to stay on track. Imagine you did that for the next 6 to 12 months. You're going to be in the best shape of your life, okay? And that is really my point with this here. So I know I've shared a lot in this video here. You can go back and then just list them out point by point, section by section. But the key here, my friend, is really just boil down the simplicity. It's not rocket science, okay? Find someone that can help you. Put a plan in place. Calories in, calories out. Eat some more protein, lift some weight and build muscle, okay? Set some new targets. Do it with a person so it's fun. And I promise you, my friend, you're going to be in the shape of your life. You're going to be better than you ever thought was possible. And ultimately, you're going to create new habits and a new identity so you can stick with this and you can be this person for the rest of your life without ever having to go back again, okay? And that's my promise to you with this video here.